microphone. Hopefully that's still good. Not clipping too much. I'm trying to reset up OBS, which might be a nightmare. Can I do this now? Okay, so I don't actually know if it's running. Video download canceled. So I might not get Twitch. It says live, but the player is broken. Which is fine. If it works for other people, it's fine at least. If it doesn't work, then that's a problem. Now, okay. I might just not mess with Twitch and I might turn it off. If it doesn't work on my phone either, then we'll consider this a broken. New tab. Is there video? Yeah, because it might just be because it's on the same network. Video download was canceled. So no, we're gonna say Twitch is broken for now. And we'll figure that out later. But that's okay. We should still have YouTube. Let's get rid of the Twitch view. Oh, we had one video or one viewer while I was fucking around with things. All right. Ow. So, where was I? Right. Doing standard stuff is probably not important right now, but I could at least... Where are we leaving off for, like, making it build? It does build. That's where we're leaving off. It just works. So I can try to get the lecture back up and running. It's technically running, but it's, like, not. So, move this to here. I didn't even check if the font size is good. I'll increase it a tiny bit. Hopefully the bitrate is fine. If I full screen my own, hit play. I mean, yeah, honestly it looks fine as the smaller one. But the bigger one's probably better just in case. Okay. Oh, and before I forget, we gotta go to the announcements page. If I click this as my video URL, that should be the stream URL. Red square, maybe. Is that the right Looks like it is. Probably include the invite link in invite to server. Can I not look at the active invite links? Is that under settings? Invites. We've used that one 7 times. That's fun. So how do I copy this? What does a server invite look like? Paste this one. Okay, let me add that to my channel, I guess. That there. Publish those. Okay, so now there's a link to the Discord server as well, but we'll do that later. Okay. So we've got a couple of things here to figure out. I think we've done everything we need to get the Lexer at least debuggable again, but we need to get the public API back working because I've changed the way that works. So for example, I want to be able to read a token out of a Lexer. But the Lexer is... Oh, actually, while I'm here, this is probably not where I want this. I think we want a syntax thing here. That. Which would then mean lib needs syntax, and Lexer goes in syntax. Okay, so then our frontend X folder needs to be syntax X. So then this is now syntax. Guys, yep. So this is now syntax.h. Okay, so then in syntax.h over here, frontend source is fine. This is fine. Make sure the language server is up. Now we're gonna have we'll get there in a second. Our driver's gonna have to be updated, but that's fine. So let's just have a Lexer create and destroy in syntax. Lexer.h. Cinder syntax Lexer.h. It's just because we're defining. I guess actually, this might be the place. Not that. Have the Lexer in the front end because duh. So Lexer can go here, which means Lexer can stay in front end. That's fine. So then this can include Cinder syntax syntax.h, and we'll probably break that out into a couple files for logical understanding later. So this Lexer is in lib front end. That's fine. It's going to include syntax and also front-end Lexer. So this can have our typedef struct Cinder Lexer. So we can grab our Cinder API explicitly, because that's what I want to do here. So Cinder API, Cinder Lexer create. So we want to be able to work with a diagnostics engine, diagnostic engine, diags. And I don't have a nice way to get the source manager associated with the diagnostics engine right now, so I think we'll just Cinder source manager, and then the Cinder API, Cinder extra. And then that should be easy enough to say, cool. Put our public API here. We've got. I could probably also post this to the other announcements channel. This one. I can actually grab that invite link here. And that'll get a couple more people to know what's going on. Okay. Is Cinder typed alloc? Oh, I need an allocator. That's the big one. Allocator and Cinder Lexer. Let's go then Lexer. Dot diags is diags. We need to include the allocator box here. Dot allocator source manager. So now, we've only done it with the highest level stuff. So then if I want to like begin lexing a file, do I want to have a begin end API, or do I just want to like have a lex? Because we don't really want to recreate an entire lexer for don't really want to create an entire lexer for free. We'd like one lexer per compilation, at least. No more than that, which would then mean our API wants Cinder lexer begin. So I could do that, and then we'd have a Cinder API, Cinder token. And like that would be the API if this is what we were doing. So then the question basically becomes, do I actually want to have a more granular lexer, which I just said I don't think I do. But if I don't have the more granular lexer, then I have this weird begin setup here. If I don't want the begin setup, then I have to read all tokens up front at once, which is not the end of the world. I could just do that. I've done that plenty of times. We're not going to have any reason. Yeah, let's just go back to doing Cinder tokens for Cinder Lex tokens, and this can take our source ID. Let's just do this. Let's not try to overcomplicate it. So then back in syntax, type def struct Cinder token. Actually, I can just say Cinder din r type Cinder tokens. Cinder token would help if I could spell. So now we've got Cinder tokens here. So let's just make this our new public API. I have one here that we can replace. So now we just need we already have a lexer. That's not the problem. The lexer should already have been initialized, so we don't need to reinitialize it. We need auto source text to be Cinder source get text. of Lexer source manager and Lexer source. Then we can say source text dot count. Can just replace source length there. Then we don't need to get a reference to because we already have it. While we're not at the end, Lex the token, push to the thing, get the thing back. Okay, that's easy enough. So then the static one can continue to exist, no change there. So I think that gives us our API back. So we have a Lexer so that we can... I mean, now that I'm back to here, I don't need a Lexer anymore. We could actually just go back to reinitializing it like we were doing earlier. And we're going to want to reinitialize it anyway, so hold on. I've deleted too much, basically. Let me get the initializer back. So I don't have to recreate the whole initializer. So let's just go back to doing something like this. So, okay, that's the biggest reason to have a Lexer, I guess, is to pre-associate it with all the additional stuff. So maybe this is fine. Maybe I leave this for now. I am still going to want to do more initialization that I forgot, but that's fine. So Lexer source is source. We need to do that. Let's do all of the initialization first. Lexer source begin is going to be, let's grab source text. We don't have the source manager yet. We do. We do have the source manager. Source begin is going to be source text dot data. Source end is source text data plus source text count. Okay. Then current is still source text data. That's fine as well. Current and current stride are actually, no, current is fine. Current stride, we don't know yet. It's going to be 0 by default. So this is where we're going to have to copy the decoder, which is this, right? Really, at this point, this should be in a function. I haven't done it yet because I didn't think I need to. So Lexer current. The count is source text count because we haven't changed that yet. Lexer C and Lexer current stride. Lexer current stride. Begin is Lexer current, and Lexer is, or stride. Length is current stride. Begin is 0 because we haven't done anything yet. So this, yeah, this whole thing really should. So the source dynamic array reserve. Okay. And just return tokens early, basically. Without even allocating anything. That's fine. So then we reserve text count plus 4. We can start doing token stuff. So now, I do think I want to factor this into the old finally decode thing. So static bool Cinder Lexer decode. And before accepting anything in particular, let's just, the base case here is this one. So if we want to be able to peek, let's say const car from where, right? So instead of having Lexer current, we'd also want to take the stride out. where, so basically we still want the same int32 out C and int out stride, I think. Whole lots of indirection. Return false, return true. So then here, instead of lex or current, this is where we'd want to have, let's get rid of stride first. Everywhere that we have a reference to lex or stride is out stride. Okay. So then everywhere that we have lex or current stride, we want out stride. Then everywhere that we have lex or current, we'll do that in a second. Everywhere that we have lex or C is now out C. Then we have lex or current, which is where. Okay. Then we can return false. We have source. Okay. So then in peak, we can replace this with if not Cinder lexer decode from peak to C stride from the lexer, then we can just return 0. And then this whole thing goes away. Now, I think if we're peaking, let's also have a bool allow error. Because during peak, we don't actually want this. This would be a whole thing you'd love to have compile time metaprogramming for, honestly. False. So then, here, we can replace this. If not lexer decode, then lexer C0. And lexer right stride 0. So then here we want lexer current to come back, because we're not peaking anymore. Lexer C and lexer current stride. Right. So then if not this, we are going to trigger the error and then do these. This will help us signal that we want to exit the lexer, which is probably good. So then we can remove all that. Less hair, significantly less, yeah. Cut it all off a few weeks ago, it's all growing back still. Hello again, Mugame, nice to see you. Does the mic sound good? I've been mumbling to make sure people can yell at me if it sounds bad. And then here, now we just say the exact same thing as here, except we return the tokens. Yeah, it's fine. Woo! Can we force this to exit? I think we can. It's gonna be ugly if we do, but I think we can set jump long jump to get out of the lexer early. That'd be pretty cool. Reply. Good. Okay. So yeah, I'm very tempted to do a set jump and long jump here. So we would then want to have static void Cinder lexer who's fatal. Cinder lexer. So then we would want to long jump, which would need a jump buff to lexer jump buff. We'd probably call it. We can just say 1 to have a value. Right, well, that's probably all we need. So we need to have a jump buff. Struct jump buff tag, I think it's just called jump buff. So if we jump buff, jump buff. Like that's gotta be a thing. It is. So why doesn't it like it? Unknown type of JMP buff. Is that what it wants? Jump buff. Sure. Jump target. We'll make it a little bit more nice and fun. So all that's going to do is do that. So when we actually try to lex the tokens here, we're going to say if not set jump, I think is what it is. Lexer jump target, return tokens, basically, right? Do I understand set jump properly? Do I need to go check? Do not save the signal mask. This is equivalent to the set jump PSD function. Sure. Store the calling environment. If not, okay. Six jump. I don't remember how to properly use it. Just none at all. None anymore. Okay. It's either, I think it's not. If not, set jump return token sounds the sanest thing. So then here we can just say Cinder Lexer oops fatal, because that will long jump us back here and return the tokens early. So then what we'll do is Lexer jump target equals whatever the 0 would be. So I can, hey, we can actually like type of, oh my god, my thumb, my pinky, type of this 0. Is that a thing you can do? Array of jump buff is not assignable. Interesting. Oh, right, because it's so we could just mem set it to 0. I just want it to like not be anything at all anymore, just in case. I mean, long jump might do that for me if I wanted. Like, can I mem set to Lexer jump target 0 size of Lexer jump target, just to like guarantee that if we hit an invalid character, it just exits. We'll get whatever tokens there were before the error, and that should be fine. So then if we go to split down and grab the driver, then we've got this whole thing here. So I'm going to say Cinder auto Lexer, Cinder Lexer create. So we have an allocator from the driver, I believe. We have driver diagnostic engine, and we have driver source manager. Use of undeclared identifier Cinder Lexer created means Cinder driver create. So now I need to go grab include Cinder front end Lexer to grab that, and then Cinder Lexer destroy. I need to turn off these LSP things. I am so not used to them being around. I'll actually bring both of these back, because now we just want this to be the Lexer. Okay, and currently the Lexer implementation is just printing the token it sees, so we don't have to do anything with them in the driver. Okay, so first of all, that's depending on something and it's rebuilding it every time, so that's annoying. I'll have to check on that. So we should be hitting run args. We might be hitting driver run here, but no, we're not parsing any arguments, so it should be hitting this. Read from file, Lexer create, Cinder Lex tokens. So when we come back to Lex tokens, are we... It's entirely possible that I just got the jump buff wrong, fprintf. Did I get the jump buff backwards? I did. I think it's supposed to be this one. Aborted, core dumped. Outstride greater than 0 failed. 94. No, that's the wrong one. So outstride should be greater than 0 if it failed, because it has to tell us, our decoder should tell us why can't it find that? Hold on. Core. It's right here, UTF-8 decoder. So outstride. Whenever... Oh, because we're not assigning to it anywhere here that we're returning it. That's why. So my ugly ass decoder needs a little bit of work to actually set the stride properly. I think what we're going to do is just say, at the very start, well, I mean, that wouldn't tell us how many bad code points there were. So I could just... I mean, I could just have a macro. Error return. I'm going to put a define in there. Because then I can just have this be do while 0 and grab if out stride not equal to null pointer out stride stride and then return Cinder Unicode error like that. Because then I could come over here and grab everywhere that does insufficient bytes, for example, could then turn into this. Remove the... I hate abusing the preprocessor, but this is local to this one function, so I can just undef error return. I can be a little cheeky, so then everywhere that we have invalid byte sequence, you do the same thing. And now we always have a stride. Stride greater than 0 failed. Well, why in the hell? I guess it would be here if the text length is if it's empty. Insufficient bytes could fail. So then and only then would stride be 0, and that's fine. Overlong probably needs to also be handled here. Error return overlong. This one should also be an error return. Does that handle everything? No. So if I did everything else correctly, the only other cases are... Actually, no. Error return. It shouldn't be out of range. This should all be ASCII. I should only be giving it ASCII. So none of these cases should be happening, which is what makes me think we're hitting just the end of the buffer, and it's this one. But then we don't want the stride to be 1. The stride should be 0. Hey, math guy. Math guy pie. What's going on? This is VS Code right now. I've used other non-VS Code editors that I just don't want to switch to right now. I could GDB it. Hey everyone. Error turn out of bounds 1. And nah, I don't like Vim. The one that I normally use if I want is micro. I am just doing... Yeah, this function, don't use this function to judge me as a programmer. I intentionally kind of just threw it together really, really quickly, and it turned into, oh, here's an edge case I forgot. Oh, here's an edge case I forgot. Oh, here's an edge case I forgot, and I haven't cleaned it up yet, so I'm just trying to get it to work before I clean it up. Because if I clean it up and it's wrong, then it won't really matter. So I just want to validate that this is what I'm getting at. So I could... insufficient bytes would be a value of 1. If I go back to our lexer, we're hitting the assertion on line 94 is here. So let's just fprintf stood error. D for the result, and we know the stride is 0. So The result is 1. Okay, so I am right. Making a mess and trying to make it work and never touch it again. Yeah, that's why I'm refactoring the hell out of the compiler right now anyway. So I was right. I don't need a debugger. I will need a debugger eventually. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I know that this should be what is triggering it. Because, like I said, I'm only giving it ASCII, and this is the only insufficient bytes call that would return for ASCII values. Like, yes, I have these here, but I'm giving it non-Unicode characters. So we're hitting here. It's just hitting the end of the file. So when we're hitting... but why would we be hitting the end of the file? That's the real question. Why would we be hitting the end of the file? We shouldn't be hitting the end of the file. So when we're hitting decode, if it's not success, outstride. Okay. What compiler are you developing? It's one for my programming language called Cinder that I'm still designing. It's don't say, oh man, it's so tried and true, everybody does it and it's never going to work. It's a C-like language because I just like C, but there's a lot of problems with C that everybody agrees are problems. So, of course I want to fix them. I'm in the process of prototyping a document. I'll pull it up, the spec, that actually describes it over here. This prototype is at least partially on the Codeberg repo, I think. I am actually making an assembler for a different project. I have a virtual console project that I'm working on that has its own assembler, linker, high-level language compiler, loader, virtual machine, standard library BIOS, blah, 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 like the entire shebang. I'm doing all the low-level shenanigans for that. What can it do that Laie can't? It's basically Laie 2, because I felt really limited by everything I had built up for Laie, and I didn't want to keep the name because it was just kind of stuck in my head as if it's not Laie, then it's not Laie. So I made a new language with similar design ideals with a different name so that I could logically distinguish it from my previous project. Here's a shit ton of keywords. I think we're at 66 keywords right now, and I'm still modifying them to see what I actually need. Anyway, so at this point, either I debugger it or I just printf it. Because I feel like we're not even getting past that. I don't know why I keep effing here. We're not even printing a single token because it's the very first thing. So lexer current is being set to source text data. Source end is source text plus count. So when we hit decode, end minus where should be greater than 0. If you want to make an apple pie, you need to create the universe first. Something. Yeah. Well, I'm not making the whole universe first. I'm just having fun. Hi, user from 1995. I know. I've heard all the things. I've said all the things. It's a hobby project for fun. I hope people will like it and find it useful, but I'm doing it because I like writing compilers, and I've been doing this shit for... I've written like many dozens of hobby compilers that never went anywhere just because I find it fun to write compilers. I am trying to make this one of the more serious ones. Laie was supposed to be, and then I burnt myself out of that one, but just for fun. I'm writing in C. I don't like C++. So how are we getting a 0? I guess we really just need to debug my big fucking mess here, because the stride is 1 from here on out. Let me just say, look, outstride is 10, which gets us to an invalidated UTF-8 code point in source, which is interesting. Invalid code point in UTF source. Why? I mean, I know we're going to print that. I just kind of forgot that that's what we were going to print, honestly. So let's just move this around. See, if I put it after this, do we get the... Yeah, so it's definitely this one. Why is text length 0? How do you start with this stuff? So I don't have a good answer for how to start with writing compilers, if that's what you're asking, because I did it my way, which was just, I sat down one day and said, I haven't been able to figure out how to do this, and there's a shit ton of shit tutorials that don't tell you how to do it. So I downloaded the source code to Squirrel, is it hyphen? The Squirrel programming language. It's like a Lua meets JavaScript, kind of. It's Lua with JavaScript syntax, basically. I downloaded the source code to this and spent a weekend during my early high school days just reading through the source code and annotating it so that I could follow along the control flow, make my own assumptions about what was going on in the comments, and then 4 hours later I'd come back to it and read my previous assumptions and be like, oh, half of that was right, half of it's totally wrong, and I can update my assumptions. So I just in real time annotated the source code to a compiler and an interpreter, and then later I implemented my own and kept referencing back to my earlier comments. That's what I did. There's a lot of better ways to do it now, like crafting interpreters is an okay resource. I like it. I haven't gone through it myself to implement what it does, but it's very approachable. And beyond that, I don't really have any good suggestions because I just haven't had to learn this stuff in so long. Gained a new follower, thank you. You started by being a stupid engineer who wants to make everything. Making everything is fun and a learning experience. Why not? I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing it to further the world. Yeah, no problem. Crafting interpreters, everybody recommends it. I have no reason not to recommend it. I knew designing a compiler was hard, but I didn't know you need to if compare memory addresses. What does that mean? So why are we hitting text length equal to 0 before even hitting the first token? That is our next question. So when I hit lex tokens, let's just printf lexer source end lexer source begin, or let's hit current, because current should give us, why? Are we getting 0 text? GCC source code, because then you don't have to want to have anything to do with it, and that'll save you a lot of hassle. Yeah, I guess. But if you actually want to enjoy yourself, don't do that. I'm in Mint for now, yeah. I've used Fedora before, but it did not agree with my hardware. Mint and doing less with the system has just been better for my life. Yeah, welcome in. So, why? Am I just not setting the text length? But I've printed this out before. If I came back up here and did Cinder string SV format and a new line and Cinder SV arg of Cinder source get text from that driver source, I can't type, driver source manager and the source. The last time I checked, see, it gives me the source text here. So the source text definitely has a length associated with it, or we wouldn't see it, because I'm printing it with the length prefix. This is a dot star and using int of string count. So the string has a count. But when we get it down here, is this like returning an empty string and not telling us? Why can't it find my implementations? That's really annoying. So that would be source manager C would first give us source get text It'll return an empty string if the source is 0 or greater than the manager sources count. But it's not asserting. So let me just change this into an assert first. An assert is not equal to 0 and it's less than or equal to, because then if this is it, then we're just getting an invalid source. Okay. So why are we getting an invalid source? Is it failing to act? It's not failing to read the source because we got the source just fine. Right? Source create. That's like LU, I think, because it's a size T under the hood. So for 1, that should be 1. So the length of our sources here should also be 1. Mod LU. Yes, I'm a printf debugger. I just find it easier to run around the source code this way. So 1. Source not equals 0 and source line. 1 is less than or equal to 1, correct? I'm not losing my fucking mind. You can't get regular D, my bad. Can't convert that to LU. That's 1. And source is also not equal to 0, right? Why is source 0? Oh, am I just doing things out of order? Is it that simple? Hold on. Because I'm using Lexer source. Nobody told me I was using. Making the compiler because I like writing compilers. That is much better. Fatal errors are not actually handled correctly. That's interesting. No, I know exactly why that is happening. Hi, Lucina. My cat has woken up, so I might have to take little detours to keep her from becoming a menace. I probably need to feed you pretty soon, don't I? I don't think you guys can see her because she's just under the camera here. Can I pick you up to show off to the YouTubes? Yeah, I know you're sleepy. Oh, she's just really enjoying getting pets right now, and I don't want to disturb that. So if I can rotate the camera just to... Oh, I didn't like that sound. Give me just a second. Increase the font size. Well, I will. Maybe if you're a little bit less obnoxious about it, I'd do it a bit more quickly. You can just say, hey, the font size is a little small. Can you make it bigger, please? Or font too small instead of, for God's sake. Dramatic much. Hey, baby girl. Can I pick you up for the camera so people can see the cute kitty cat? She might run away. Wow. Kitty cat. Kitty cat, kitty cat. Yes. All right, you can go now. She doesn't want to be held like that right now. She's right next to my mouse, so look, I can do that. That makes it bigger. That makes it bigger. Big enough for you? So now we want... I think what I'm going to do is have a way to hook into the diagnostics engine and have it do another long jump so we can get out of fatal errors in a well-defined way. Okay, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. She's got my old food thing. You can't have that. Can't have spicy mac and cheese. So I'm going to have to take my dish away. I was eating right before the stream. So if you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to clean up my desk so she doesn't make a big mess of it. Oh, I need my mouse, baby. Can you get your butt off my mouse? Please and thank you. Okie dokie. Be right back. Yeah, I don't give a shit if vibe coding's faster. Vibe coding is gonna fucking destroy the everything, really. And it's not fun. I've been programming for the vast majority of my life because it's fun, not because I have any end goal in mind. Yeah, vibe coding would be making a piece of garbage. Boop-a-doop-doop. Where did I leave off? I was checking why. Oh, right. So that's fine. Now I want to go to the diagnostics engine. Diagnostic engine.c. So now we have this. So I'm going to include long jump here, set jump here as well. Include set jump. We imagine all the coding you could do fixing the vibe code. It would be endless. Yeah. Didn't people like immediately after vibe coding became like a popular thing to do in big companies start marketing themselves as like, what was I don't remember what the term they were using, but people who would fix AI generated code, which is just literally being a fucking regular ass programmer in any job. Fixing and maintaining shit code. Didn't have to do anything special, just change their title. Jump buff, jump target. So I don't know how to check if jump target is or is not valid. That'll be a fun thing to figure out. But let's add to the... Ooh, this might be what I can do. Okay, let me say that there's like a max Cinder diag jump target max, right? And let's go back into the diagnostic engine here and define that to be like, I don't know, 3. We can have 3 levels of jump targeting. And then here, as part of my API, bool Cinder diagnostic engine set jump target Cinder diagnostic engine. Diags is what we're calling it. And this will basically just be a wrapper around set jump. The theme I'm using is a modified version of Tsoding's Gruber Dark. I just changed the yellow to a pink. So Tsoding's Emacs theme, you can find versions of it all over the place, and then I just made it pink instead of yellow for the keywords. That's it. So I believe that's what you're going to want to search for. So I read somewhere that set jump is kind of finicky. So this might have to be a macro, but I really want to avoid doing macros without function alternatives in the API so that people can consume the API properly. So we're going to see if this does what I want it to do. And if it doesn't, then oops. So let's this, and then say we actually want a, thank you, I appreciate that, jump target count. So then if jump target diags jump target count is greater than or equal to our this, then return false. And we're also going to if diags is null pointer return false, and just short circuit that out entirely. I like people coding like this. I'm trying to be a programmer. There are so many different ways that you can program, so don't think too hard about like this as like a thing that you want to ascribe to always do. I program the way that I do because of my like 15 to 20 years of experience in so many different programming languages doing so many different things. I like this kind of low-level programming where I have a lot of control over things and I don't worry about memory all that much. But I'm glad you like it. If you like it, give it a shot, see what you want to change about it, make it your own. Making a compiler for a new language using C. The first language appeared just because whatever input system you have. Lucy, stop. She's eating my cables. Whatever input you have, you start with that, and you just work your way up. You don't have a C compiler, well, what do you have a compiler for? You don't have a compiler, well, how do you program the machine? So way back when all you had were fucking, like, machine code switches, then you could use those to program some way to read a punch card, for example. I don't know the exact one-to-one steps, but if all you have are switches, set up a bunch of switches that can read a punch card system and use that to bootstrap your way up to something that can... Lucina, stop. Let me get the cat. Hold on. Stop her from eating my cables, and then I can keep talking. Come here. Come here. You don't get to eat all my cables, honey. You don't get to. If you chew through them, you'll get zapped and you'll die. Which may not be true, but I have to tell it to you so you stop. Okay. So we don't have to go all the way back to the beginning, but if I wanted to write a C compiler, maybe I can find it even. There's like a bootstrap C compiler, like bootstrap everything, bootstrap project. I forget what it's called. Because there's bootstrap this, there's, is it this? 18 public imagining this topic, no. There was definitely some project that was, hey, we want to bootstrap everything from the smallest possible. I don't remember where it was. Because Hex 1 is a whole different thing, that's not it. The full source bootstrap, building from source all the way down. Because like basically what you do is just start with the lowest level thing you have access to and work your way back up. And I can't for the life of me remember what I was looking for. This is like as close as we're gonna get before I give up. But the one that I remember thinking of, you write like the minimum possible like Linux ELF executable that just accepts hex codes from std.in and converts them to the resulting machine code. So you just hand write that with whatever means you have, and then it can start consuming larger and larger programs so that you don't have to write them by hand. And then in each of those programs, you write compilers that compile just a little bit more, so you can get higher and higher languages until eventually you have the compiler that you want. Right, so that's one way of doing it. You could also just start with the very, very lowest level and hand compile from the highest level all in one step, but that takes so much longer. So you don't do it for general purpose stuff. You don't do it in modern times. But that's basically what happened. It's just somebody before you wrote something, you use that thing to write your thing. Eventually you have your compiler. If you mean ML as in machine learning, I am not a machine learning expert. If you mean ML as in whatever ML means for programming languages, I forget. ML language. Is it just, because it's funny, what does it mean? Meta language. If you mean ML as in like the functional language called meta language, I don't know that either. Not going very low level. Yeah, I've done application stuff, but I've not done anything with machine learning. So, specific advice to machine learning, I have no idea. I'm not going to lie to you. So then we can just return set jump of diags jump target. Not count, jump target. Sub diags jump target count plus plus. So, incompatible pointer types passing a buff pointer. This might not then work. If I do that, does it like it? I think it would. That's fine. I'm not even doing like the lowest of low level. This is just like a compiler is still an application. I'm just also managing my memory lower level than other languages are. So it's low level, but it's not like I'm not writing a driver. Right. Yeah, baby. I can't play right now. I'm busy. You have your toys. I know. Okay. She might need attention soon, but for now, then what we're going to do is static void Cinder diagnostic engine long jump. if able. How about that? So then we can have this. I've never used set jump and long jump like this, so I'm just kind of hoping it actually works. If diags jump count greater than 0. Actually, if it's just equal to 0, then we get out of here. Then we want to minus minus and long jump to diags jump target of diags jump target count with a value of 1, because why not? Oh wait, there was something in there to be said about jump to the environment saved an end, making the set jump call there return val, or 1 if val is 0. So it's going to be 1 even if I pass 0. That's fun. No? Machine learning is totally a valid software engineering and development field. You can do lots of that. If you're talking specifically about the modern jumble of AI, then yeah, but it's not what ML is. ML is way older than that. Okay. So let's, every time we hit a fatal, because I've commented out some stuff here, let's just say long jump if able diags. And I'm even going to pass in this same thing, actually. So we can make this int status. So we can actually return status, which might mean that we want this to be an int instead. So if we go back to diagnostic engine, we'll make it an int. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to change. I want to change this one. Yes. Don't jump up there. That's better. Good. Yeah, ML's fine. So then here's the next thing we want to try. Back in Lexer C. Let's see if I did this right. So when we start lexing tokens, we're going to say I think that will mean I can actually remove what I've done here, because it's going to diagnose fatal, which... Hey, Lucina, what are you doing? Hi. Hey, baby. Diagnosing fatal will jump us here instead, so I can just replace this call to set jump. Cinder, diagnostic engine, set jump target. And then here we say diags. Then we're going to not do anything here. We'll leave the print here to make sure it's working. Then back up here, we can actually remove the jump target now because we made this. So everywhere that we use oops fatal, here. So this doesn't have to return false anymore. This can be a void, because then it's going to... no, let's make it keep returning bool, because if we don't error, we want to just stop. Here, though, we're going to say Cinder unreachable. Do I have that? I do. Cinder unreachable is Cinder trap. Okay, so what isn't it like about this? Use one declared identifier built-in trap. Okay. So built-in trap. It doesn't like built-in trap. Is it built-in debug trap that it didn't like? It said it didn't like built-in trap, right? Built-in regular trap. But built-in trap should only exist if we have built-in trap or we're in Clang or GCC. Clang should have built-in trap. Hold on. Why doesn't Clang have built-in trap? Is it only a GCC extension that C doesn't? Oh, is it because it's C++? I don't believe you. Why don't we have built-in trap? Clang or GCC should be providing built-in trap, right? Why not? Why Clang built-in trap? trap. If has built-in, feature checking macros has built-in. So I'll just stop checking for if we have built-in trap or not. And God, I need to. I don't need this one right now. I want this back. So use someone declared identifier built-in trap. Expanded from trap. Lucina, get down. Get down. Yeah, but Clang supports basically everything GCC does, unless it's stupid. Lucina, get down. Hold on. I've got cables under my desk, and she likes to swing from them like a monkey, which is not good. So it says we have the built-in. So if we have the built-in, why don't we have the built-in? Okay, so it's not a caching problem. Built-in trap just genuinely doesn't exist. Hey, it's Nick. What's going on? Yeah, YouTube is just easier for me to stream on, and I get more actual chat engagement here. Hi, baby. Don't drink my soda. No, my soda enough. And there she goes again. It's almost her food time. So, oops, fatal. We already need to get rid of. But why can't we built-in trap? If we have the built-in trap, is it just because I literally? It's because I spelled it wrong. That's why. So let's ooh. That was a bad undo to undo replace. There we go. I wanted to hit Q. So now we have unreachable. If we hit Cinder diagnose, we hit unreachable. If we're doing errors, it will not trigger here. So now, oops, fatal. Here, we should just void the whole thing, right? And we should also void the whole thing here. Then the only place we don't void it is here, because we're hitting false. My terminal is in Comic Sans because it looks cool. Okay, so we're back to the source manager failing. Source not equal to 0, so okay. Is this the same thing we had happen before? Did I accidentally undo that? Or... yeah, it's back on Lexer source. I undid too far. Okay, so the fatal error has not done anything right now. Comic Mono, yeah, it's either Comic Mono or some other variant of Comic Mono, I forget. It might be Comic Code, for example, but I forget. Illegal instruction, core dumped. Okay, so we are hitting our debug trap from unreachable. She's okay. So we're hitting that unreachable here. I'm going to put it in a couple more places. Diagnostic engine, because we want it to be unreachable here. Right. So I could actually no return this. But it could return. That's right. And then here, this should be unreachable. Well, no, it shouldn't be unreachable because it's only a fable. So we're getting really far, hitting a ton of fatal errors, and it's still not attempting. So let's just fprintf jump bag, jump count. Be careful up there, baby. Jump count. And then we'll see if we hit +1 because we haven't incremented it yet, and then here we'll print it again before we decrement it. So up at the top, diag jump count is 1. We are starting it. So then whenever we hit a fatal error, jump count is still 1, but it's not long jumping to it. We're not leaving. Lucina, stop it. Hold on. No, baby. No, baby. Don't get to eat the bag. Don't get to eat the bag, baby. I need to get you some treats to play with. Put you down. Here you go. All right, so it is trying to jump a fable, and it's failing the long jump. So not dog, nope. Cat. So there's probably something going on with set jump and long jump that I just don't fully know how to deal with. So is this the C one? It's the C +1, not the C documentation. Saves the current execution context in a variable and of type jump buff. Later used to restore the current execution context by a long jump function. Must appear only in one of the following contexts. The entire controlling expression if, switch, while, do. So this is what I was afraid of, basically. One operand of a relational or equality operator. Yep. The behavior is undefined. So we might have to make this a macro in order for it to work properly, which would suck, but is fine. So basically, if I come back to diagnostic engine.h here, and we set the jump target, then, so let's see, the entire controlling expression, one operand of, I think what we're just going to have to do here is hope for the goddamnedest that this works and treat it only as an implementation detail. So we'll probably pull it out of this header file in just a minute. So we're just going to say set jump to diags jump target of diags jump target count plus, right? And then just remove this entire thing. Oh, I forgot to link my friend he wanted to see. I mean, oh, but they're playing games or something. Anyway, the long jump should still be fine. So set incomplete definition of type Cinder diagnostic engine. In set jump target lexer diag. Incomplete definition of type. Oh, because right. So this is why it would have to be an internal thing. So let's go back to my files and say diagnostic engine.h from here, if and def, Cinder info front and diagnostic engine.h. Define it, get rid of this, and if. So then we also want to grab a diagnostic engine and put the definition here, so then we can include diagnostic engine H here, which gives us this definition. So we then also want to just grab the primary include header and set jump. Okay, so then we can go back in here. We'll keep all of these explicit. So then set jump target in the Lexer C now needs to just also include that. So now we've segfaulted, which is better than the illegal instruction breakpoint. Indeed, cat. Been using healing browser for 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm using Vivaldi right now as my primary. I've got a few others installed for various things when I don't want to mess with my Vivaldi state, but Vivaldi has been good to me so far. Hopefully it continues to be. Hi, cat. Yeah, are you done with all your treats already? Yeah, you like vacuumed them up. It's pretty good, isn't it? Hey. Okay, so now diagnostic C. So I need to remove this because we got that done already. We fixed the undefined behavior. So invalid character, then segfaults. Oh, don't resize my screen, please. So segfault core dump. What am I compiling with, and why don't I have a nice backtrace here? My C flags. Pedantic GDB, I'm not optimizing, so I could just go ahead and say, and just see if that includes anything. I'd have to put it in more spots, that's right. Where do I put it? I don't think this is going to give me a better stack trace, but it's not unlikely. Address, senator, signal, address, could be different than high value. But it doesn't know where. High value address. There are no register values below, though. You see that? Hi. I know you want to play, but I'm a little busy. So it's not giving me a stack trace this way either. I can do memory. Does that change anything? Memory sanitizer, same thing. Nested bug in the same thread, aborting. Weird. Just use GDB. I mean, yeah, I just don't know how to use GDB. I've never used it. Help. Cool. So I want to set to help followed by a class name. We want to help running, I guess. Help running. But I really want breakpoints. You can try GF2. I don't have GF2 installed. Quit doesn't do Q to quit. Cool. GF2 is not installed. It's not even provided. So sure, GDB bin Cinder. Okay. Can I give it the full list of? Can I give it the full list of things and then type run? Exited normally. Is that what I do? Break file line. Okay. But I don't want to. I just want it. I don't want to break anywhere. I want it to break on the seg fault. Because we're trying to find a seg fault and we don't know where the seg fault is happening. Lucina, stop. Right? It's probably on the jump, so I guess I can break on the jump and see what happens. Should stop when the segs, then you can just go back. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm hoping, but then what is this? What am I looking at here? Starting program Cinder. Using whatever. So it exited normally because it didn't give me the arguments. Lucina, stop. I'm trying to learn things. Don't eat the paper. Don't do it. I know you don't speak. Hey, stop it. I know you don't speak English, but you're supposed to hear me say no and understand that. Come here. You're not in trouble. Don't. Can't do that right now. You come over here and play. Look. Thank you, baby. So, how do I give it arguments? JDB args, command args. Okay. Okay, program received 6F, so long jump, blah, blah, blah. No such file or directory. Great. I mean, yeah, it's failing at the long jump. Probably doesn't speak Portuguese, no. I don't think she does. So let's just... Meow meow, Lucina, get down. What could I be doing wrong in the long jump? Long jump... Oh, because I... How did that disappear? Okay, that's all it was. See, I just read the source code, guys. Reading the source code explains the source code. Somebody hit my F11, I don't like that. So now go back to the Lexer. And cool. Now invalid character star in source. Now we've long jumped our way out with a fatal error. Beautiful. So I've done a shit ton of work without committing it. So let's git add, claim D, git add, compile flags, git add. Doc spec, that's fine. Git add source. No, git add Cinder. There we go. Git add knob-c, git add. I haven't updated my git ignore yet, so I'm doing this manually just to look at what I got. Sure. So we haven't included the old source directory, the new reminder doc, or the knob executable. So commit big refactor almost finished. Git payush, and while it's doing that, we can go update my git ignore to knob, move knob, old, doesn't, yeah, I'm not guaranteeing it works on Windows yet, but I do want to get it working on Windows soon, so get that out of the way. Then I'm actually going to go ahead and put source in there, specifically /source. So then if I get status, git add, git ignore, then git rm cached source, and then, okay, but git add would just put them back. So the git ignore clearly didn't work. That's better. Git add, git, the knob thing didn't work though either. So is that just root by default? That's better. And then sure, for now, doc. I haven't done anything I specifically care about. Git add, commit, remove older code, and be pinging. Cool. Okay, so we've done a thing. We can now go back to making the Lexer do Lexer things, finally. That only took a long while. We're going to want to write an actual options parser soon, but it's more exciting right now to write the Lexer, so I'm going to keep going with the Lexer. I should probably try the tokens I currently have better. So example.cinder. We get up to the star, and I haven't done the star yet. But I also wanted to say foo, and just see what happens if I do foo. Me and my ye old So it does do @foo. We haven't broken @foo. I don't know what the value of @foo is, but it at least reads it properly, so that's fine. We'll get a token debugger going later. So these are all fine. In case, let's just start with star. Star has a couple of options. Do I have try? I do. So if we see equals, then return Cinder TK star equal, which doesn't exist yet. Return the star. Not return. Token kind equals Cinder Lexer advance Lexer first, then we do try. Lucina, stop. Come here. No, you're gonna choke yourself on the cables. Else, that's not the paste. So now let's go look at our tokens here in token kinds. I need to figure out where I want to put them in this big old list of tokens. Meow. Meow. You don't get to go outside right now. No, I have to come with you. I think she's going to jump for the door handle. Lucina, you're so predictable. I know you are. Yeah. So let's just, for the time being, put them here. So we want star equal as our first example. Don't do it. Star equal can just be a big old 10. There it is. So we should get through to star. Now equals doesn't work. Cool. So, meow. Hey, don't jump for that. Lucina. Hold on. She's trying to open the door. If you do that again, I'm going to have to get you, baby. Ooh. There's something in my head that doesn't like when I shake it. Okay, so let's figure out all the symbols I need to do compound and see where they'll fit in my whatever. Like, I think I'm just going to actually... Smart cat. Yeah, it's one of those horizontal ones that you can turn, so she's actually got a little grabby spot. Whether or not she knows she can open the door, she knows she can... Lucina! She knows she can hold on to it. Lucina, get down. Come here. We're not going out right now, baby. Not right now. No, 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 no. I know you want attention. You got lots of attention right before your nap, and then your nap was only like 30 minutes long. That's not my fault. That's not my fault. No, no, no. And there she goes. That should keep her busy for about 10 seconds. Okie dokie. So let's work our way down. So we want a bang equal, sure. A bang equal first. Let's Boolean operators are fine. So we can do equal equal and bang equal. So these can be 5, not 6. So then these can start, we'll start them at 10 anyway. But I think we're going to need the room. So 10, 11. Then less and greater equal. Right. I could do these, I guess, just in the order they appear down here. So if we go back and do bang equal first, it would be 10. And we're waiting to get all of these allocated. So then after bang is hash $%. Okay, so percent equal can get 11. Percent equal gets 11. Oh, hey, can you let go so I can throw it? Okay. She got tangled up in my wired headphones. She's gonna break these someday. She's looking at me like, what did I do? What did I do? Percent equal is fine. Then ampersand comes after. Amp equal can be 12. Then we're on to left, right, paren. Hey, we got star equal finally. Star equal gets to be 13, plus, minus, and slash, plus, minus, that's slash, 14, 15, 16. Right, star plus, minus, slash. Already got amp and percent. Dot, we do have others for dot, so dot goes above slash. So dot will have dot, that's 16, and dot. I should actually not allocate these right now because I actually forgot a few. Right, we have amp, which needs to be 13. Then star equal is fine at 14, plus equal is fine at 15. But then 16 is plus. And maybe that should actually be 15. 16. Amp. I like that better, 12 and 13. Star equal, plus equal. Minus equal, now it needs a minus companion. I want interrogation, exclamation. Well, a bang question? Or a question bang? Yeah, question bang. Sure. I don't know what for. 17, 18, so then dot is 19, 20. I already think I'm going to run up against this 33 wall pretty quickly. I might have to subtract a lot from these. If we just start these at 7, 8, 9. We've got room at the end too, 10, 11. So I can move all the I can move this to the end and then put the keywords after it. That's probably better. But I'll do all of that off stream eventually. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so after slash, then you can go use C3. C3 does that all the time. C3 has all kinds of fun stuff. C3 doing docs. If I just search for like bang question, it's somewhere in the errors. Let's go look at errors. I don't know where they are. Design goals, back projects, community. Variables might have it. Absolutely, they don't have it. Arrays, alias, string, memory handling, vectors, essential error handling there. So optionals go on values. You can use the question mark to indicate an excuse is what it's called. You can do that there, do that there. Where's the bangs at? There's the bang. Bang will propagate it to the caller, and then you can do some other stuff. There's lots of fun other stuff. Where the hell is it? Show me the fun stuff. There's no fun stuff here. Anyway, you can do in current C3, you can do that is a valid thing, but I don't remember what it does. Advanced error handling might have it. There's the double panic. So double bang is panic instead of propagate. So yeah, like there's a good one that you'd like. There's your interrobang, basically. Lucina, those are my glasses. I need those. I use those to see better. Yeah, so there you go. Go give C3 a shot if you want to have big questioning junky bang bang bangies. Slash equals. So we're down past slash. So after slash we have colon. Colon's gonna have colon at 19. Then after colon is semicolon. We don't have a double semicolon. You've seen that. Stop. Less equal. We want a less and a less equal. So less can be 20. Less equal. That'll be this one. It's 21 and 22 is regular less equal. So then after less is equal and then greater. Equal gets to be 23. Lucina, stop. Lucina. Stop it. You've got so many toys to play with, you don't need to push that. Lucina, come here. Where did you leave your toy at? Come here. Look at this. Kittens are so cute, but they are a lot to look at. Greater comes after. A lot to take care of. A lot to look after. That's what I wanted. So greater works. Then we have question. I don't know. Little Devils. I saw the title and came to say 5th final on-site stage job interview just on Monday. They asked me to build a... Give me 2 hours. Okay, well, it's not going to be a very good compiler, is it? But what are the 2 languages? And hello, Ahmed. I am already running out of space. So after greater equal, we wanted question. I don't know if I'm going to use a question, but I think I'm going to use a question. We're going to find out. 5 code, though they failed me regardless because I said I had trouble to explain how I would approach the task. Is a web? Okay. Yeah, you're going to be here building UI and styling things. If you can't write a compiler, though, fuck you. I hate interviews. Okay, clearly this is not going to fit. So we're just going to do it all down here with a bunch of oh, it's one too far. Always one too far. I don't know how to undo my one too far. So we'll leave them empty. After question, we have at. At's not going to do anything. That's fine. Left square, no. Backslash, no. Right square, no. Caret. I think caret is going to have the same semantics as in C. So we have a caret. I might do a caret for shits and giggles. But that's... it's basically just not equals. So we'll do caret equal. Then after caret, we have underscore, which does nothing, backtick, which does nothing, left curly, pipe. Okay, pipe is going to have pipe equal, it's going to have pipe. Then tilde is not a thing I can do a multiple thing of in C, so that's fine. We were really close. So with greater equal question, I think we were 1, 2. We might actually just be able to put that. Wait, I thought we were going to have more. That might be it. Okay, yeah, if I copy that and just undo, hold on. Because we got back to here. So then after question, we were left with 28, 29, and 30. I thought we were going to have more, but that's actually going to fit just fine. 7 to 30. Because then it doesn't start again until 33. They ignored all the previous interviews, including the tech interview that cleared, ignored my production-ready working solution. They said, you had trouble to explain, and we don't want such people. What the hell? Some engineers are just gatekeeping like the trash. Yep. Yeah, it's probably, I mean, like, as much as you need a job, probably. I wouldn't want to work somewhere with that kind of culture anyway. Having trouble explaining something is problematic. Yes, but if it's not a thing you were supposed to be being interviewed for, right? If you're going, hey, you're going to develop UI, why can't you explain how this compiler works? Yeah, I'm going to have trouble explaining something. If I got hired for an ML job, I wouldn't know how to explain ML. Or if I got hired for a job that wanted me to explain ML, but I wasn't being hired for ML, rather. But, you know, you can't explain everything. So I don't know the whole situation, but based on what I've been told, that's stupid. I don't disagree. Having trouble explaining something is a problem if you're expected to know the thing and to be able to communicate it. But that doesn't sound like what's going on here. Or if it is, we're being lied to or misled. Okay. So, ident reserved. We've removed ident reserved. Oh, I might keep ident reserved. That's right. Fuck. I don't... Hold on. So, I was going to actually physically reserve identifiers in the compiler, similar to how C does them in the standard. But one, I don't know if it's going to be necessary. It's better for forward compatibility that I can just say you literally can't use these words, and then if it's a keyword, it'll get accepted as a keyword first. So I might re-add that. Token kinds. I'd have to increment everything by 1. Give it my best shot. So we need to tokenize the input. So we probably need some stack data structure. We're like, yeah, but felt like we didn't need it for sure. Okay. Yeah, let's just take one more, bump this up one. 8, 9, 10, 11. Once I actually like finalize where things are, I won't be shuffling them around at all. I'll just be slotting them in where they fit. But while I've got early stage stuff, I do want to kind of make it look more or less nice. And I'm only doing this manual setting of stuff because I want it to fit within 255. Okay, so equals. So now that we've got star, let's work our way down with bang. If it's bang equals, then we're looking for bang, bang. So then we're looking for percent. If we see percent, then it's a percent equal. Then after that we have ampersand. This one's going to be more complicated, but that's fine. I do this all the time and I love it. So if we see amp followed by amp, then it's actually amp amp, right? Otherwise it's amp equal, otherwise it's and. Not Vim. I'm in VS Code right now, but I don't use Vim. If I do use a terminal editor, I use Micro instead. So this could give me open Cinder lib front end Alexa, and that's where we are here now. And I've got my monochrome theme on right now, so I could use Micro instead. But for right now, I've been doing a lot of work moving back and forth between a lot of different files, and I just find it easier to work with files in a graphical editor. I've never used CLion, so I have no opinions on CLion. Did they want you to give you syntax highlighting as well? Genuinely, it would depend on what my other restrictions are. Yeah, no. I wish I had a way to like, because I can definitely select all the numbers. Selecting all the numbers is not the problem. I don't have a way to like parse and increment the numbers. You're right, which NVim probably has features for. Emacs can probably do it as well. But no, Micro or VS Code won't make that work. Yeah, that's stupid. No. Why? That's just a. They literally don't want to hire anybody. Building the compiler and building a language tooling orthogonal to the compiler, not the same thing. Not the same thing at all. That just feels like they don't want to hire anybody. Plus, and everywhere that we say amp, we say plus. Then after plus, we have minus, so we can copy plus to get minus. Minus. Then after minus, we've got dot, dot, dot. That'll be a completely unique one, but it's going to be similar to... Yeah, we'll start with this one. So when we have dot, then we want a dot, dot, but not exactly. So this is our dot, dot, and this is our dot, dot, dot. Yeah, the language server, if you're doing an LSP, that's a nightmare. That's going to take you forever because it's not great. If you're doing syntax highlighting as in, okay, here's 5 regexes that you can plug into like a TextMate grammar, then sure. I don't remember TextMate off the top of my head, and I don't know how to install it into any editor off the top of my head, but if they just wanted to give you a prototype TextMate grammar, then yeah, you could just write a quick regex to do that, and that's not a problem. I wouldn't have many issues doing that. I'd have to look up the specific regex syntax, but yeah, you guys are working with the LSP. I don't know if Matt, Gee, I don't remember where to divide up your name. I don't know if Matt had to do a full LSP or just the highlighting. If you're just doing highlighting, then TextMate grammars are almost ubiquitous. Some other tools do some similar things. But if they wanted something interactive, that's completely different. And like, why does the compiler have to have highlighting support if they're two existing languages? Probably. If both ends already exist, you're gonna have tooling for both of those. So if you just wanted a compiler from one or the other, you already have the highlighting from the other tooling. If they want you to build all of that from scratch for a web front-end job, like, are they trying to get you to build a web UI that actually will render the text and then compile it on the fly and then show you the other rendered text? Like, what the hell would they want him to be building? I don't know. Okay. After dot, we've got slash equal. So let's do slash and slash equal. After slash, we have colon colon. So colon, but with another colon, colon colon. Lucina, I know you're mad that you don't get to play with my wires. After colon, we have less and less equal. Okay, these ones are going to be bigger, but we'll start with this. So less does need a less equal. Okay, that's fine. But within here, we need an else. So let me grab the else. The else needs, if it's less, then in here, this is less, and this is less equal. So if it's less than equal, we get less is equal. Otherwise, we get less. If it's less than equal, we get equal. Otherwise, less. Cool. So that's the same for greater. Greater sign, and then everywhere that we see less, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's become greater. Yeah, if it was one of the last parts of a really long interview process with all that travel, that's just some shit. They're not worth it, and now you know. I like using the star one. The star one feels nice. So after less and greater, equal exists right in the middle. This gets to be equal. We'll probably have an equal greater at some point, which I completely forgot to add, but we still got 2 whole free token slots for the early implementation, so that's fine. Yeah, without ever building a compiler, without it making it part of the rest of the process, that's, sorry man, that's not fun. If we hit question, we're pretty sure we want question. Yeah. Do that in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and add an equal greater, because I almost always want that. 5, 6, 9, 8, 9, 31, and 2. So now I'm out of space. I was gonna say I might also want to add a minus greater, but now I'm out of space. So now that I've done the out of space game, I think anything beyond this will start getting slotted other places. Okay, question mark, that's fine. So after question mark, we have caret equal, pipe, and pipe. Okay, so if I go get my ampersand and my percent, these two right next to each other will finish all of my problems. Caret, and then this one, pipe, Okay, that should handle, that's micro. That's not my, okay. Okay, so now we gotta do digits. Does my example file have digits that are Okay, they just got regular digits. That's fine. So up here, we've done all of these. Let's do case 0, case 1, case 2, case 3. I forgot a colon. Case 4. Keep missing which keys I want to do. Pressing buttons is hard. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we'll just put it here, that's fine. Then token kind equals Cinder TK const. I think I switched it off of no, it's fine. Const integer. Start with integer because I know we don't have floats, and I'll have to get the rest of the integer parsing up and running later. I do relatively complicated integers usually, so I'm not gonna get that all up and running right now. But okay, so I don't think I'm even gonna do. Do I want to handle parsing right now? Not really. Let's just do ye old simple while c is greater than or equal to 0 and c is less than or equal to 9. Cinder Lexer advance. I almost want to turn off my LSP again. Invalidate UTF. Okay, so then I think the only thing missing there is now we're hitting what? What? I know this is wrong for Unicode, but I'm fixing it later. Why is it at 1.1? We're at the end of the file. I assume that it's just not accepting the 0 at the end. So if I decode, so if Cinder Lexer is at end Lexer, or where it's 0, then return true, and just set Lexer is equal to 0 Lexer stride. Invalid character is 0000 in source. Okay, well that's at the right spot at least. So now, in the tokenizer here, I don't think I have an EOF anymore. I'll implement that in a minute before I forget, hopefully. That's reminding me to feed the cat, but I want to finish what I'm doing before I take a quick break. What was I looking at? Decode has this. So is at end. Lexer. Oh, Lexer current. Can I do that? Kind of. Then it's still going to tell us this. I mean, that's slightly better, that's slightly more reliable, but now I have to come back into the token part. So we skip all the trivia. Then, do I have, okay, this is the real question. Token kinds, do I have an EOF? I do, it's 0. So then just, if Cinder is at end, return token, because I'm just going to do token kind Cinder TK EOF, and token dot range dot length being 1 is probably still fine, but I might change that. Okay, there we go. So now we have tokenized the input again. Notably, I said that had introduced a potential concept of reserved identifiers here. I'm using them in my example program. See you the next stream. Thanks for stopping by. So I really don't know if this reserved thing is even a thing I want to care about. Because Cinder is going to ideally care a little bit less about backward compatibility and actually try to deprecate things. But it's not a bad idea to have an out anyway. So I can always put the fancy identifier types in different places. Like putting identifier here, I can probably just move it. So if I start with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Then I can move all of these down, down, down to the burning ring of the end of the file. Ident could be 254, then 253, 252. Just work our way down. Putting all the things in the wrong spot. And then I have access to all this separately. And since I've done that, I should have done my minus actually, because now I want minus greater. 14, 15, 16. Because I might have something I want to do with minus greater. But also, if I'm coming from people knowing C, having minus greater be a token. It means I can more easily identify it in the source text and provide better errors for it, even if I don't end up using it. So minus greater is just good to have, even if it's not a Cinder feature. It'll be a good, hey, don't use minus greater here, use dot or whatever. Boom. Okay, git status, git add, git commit. Lexer now has basic token function. Okay. The Lexer isn't by no means done, but this is at least now usable, and we've done some fancy fun stuff with it. So, alright, let me go feed the cat. This is why I have reminders. I've forgotten twice. If I go feed her, though, she'll wake up. She's sleeping right now. Can't quite see her. Hold on. In the little box. Those are little feetses. Little feetses are right there, and there she is. So if I go feed her, she'll wake up and cause problems again. So I think we'll feed her when she wakes up. Let the kitty sleep. When she yells at me, that'll be my new reminder. My new alarm reminder. I don't remember why I got rid of the $sign. Because I kind of like the idea of letting the $sign exist in identifiers. If I do this, does it break anything? Is there something I forgot? No, cool. So maybe instead of having these be underscores, I can make them dollars. Wow. So then, if it's an ident start, there. Boom. So So the next thing I may as well figure out is knob. Turn the address sanitizer back on. So, yes. What did I want to do it right? So building the... It seems compiler development can be dangerous. You could end up making a religious OS and losing your mind law. I've thought about doing it, not gonna lie. So I am already losing my mind though. The OS is on my to-do list, but the mind's already gone. Right, I'm just not checking if it needs to be rebuilt. It didn't go right, but he had a whole ass, everybody knows him. Everybody knows Terry Davis. Yeah, exactly. So if not knob needs rebuild. So let's actually make this a bool knob needs rebuild. Then needs rebuild is going to be knob needs rebuild of object. Wait, wait a second. This needs to go here, that's why I'm confused. So then we're looking for output path. So I'm actually going to just make this exe. Now I can say const exe equals this. Come on. So and then here input paths now is if I do rebuild one, the first one is just going to be object. What the hell buttons am I pushing? Okay. So knob needs rebuild or equals that. But now it's also going to or equal the libraries. So libraries items, libraries count. Well, shoot, because that's not what it is. Because we don't have list comprehensions. If not needs rebuild, return true. Oh. Is there a reason you prefer text editor and keyboard only instead of MS? I'm in VS Code. I do still, I've mentioned it a few times already, I do still use a text-only editor sometimes. I have Micro and I love it. Just right now, this project specifically, but for a lot of what I'm doing, I'm just presently feeling more comfortable with a slightly more graphical editor. I have it modified to look a lot more text because I don't need most of the graphical features, but I've been finding myself using them every now and then. So I'm just keeping myself in here. Okay, so I think we've done this. I git commit amend. Is that a thing I can do? That would be 1M if I did. This is update rebuild strategy instead. I even use micro for my Git, see? I watch videos on a different monitor, but I could not put them under my text. I'm using a black background for a good reason. I cannot do that. Okay, so now it's rebuilt knob, but it hasn't rebuilt anything else. Cool. Git push. Cool. For anybody wanting to not necessarily follow along at home, unless you want to, I guess, Codeberg, Cinder. We are on. Why does it keep completing to .com? I keep deleting the .com. Codeberg. Remove .com. Stop completing to .com. It's not a real website. .org. Cinder. There we go. So we have a little organization on Codeberg. It should be linked in my channel, and I think this one is also linked in the description, but this is where I'm pushing stuff to. It's got no documentation right now because I've changed so many things that the documentation was useless, and I deleted it, and I'm going to be rewriting it soon. But if you want to build it, knob.h, knob.c. You literally just do that, and then knob will build everything for you. You'll have to figure out what the hell is valid Cinder according to the Lexer for now, or what little is left in the spec. Like, it's not an incomplete spec by any means, but it's also mostly incomplete. There's only a handful of things in here, and it's not guaranteed to be correct because I'm changing it with the language as I develop it. So. Anyway, yeah. I think I've left everything. I think I can remove C flags now. I think C flags can finally get removed. Git rm cached C flags text. I was using that for a different build when it was a shell script. Because it's got my C flags in it, but I was just doing the like at file trick. New programming language, yes. Of my own design, yes. It is called Cinder, and I don't have a concrete example other than this example file, which I'm working on. I have lots of ideas in my head, and I'm trying to solidify which ones will make the cut. So eventually you'll see what it looks like. But outside of me telling you that it's a C-like language, where I'm just trying to fix my personal problems with C and keep it as minimal as possible, that's the best I got for you right now. Hence the logo, which I should probably actually try to upload the logo to Codeberg so you can see it nice and pretty like. Yeah, like a systems programming language, and I want to make sure that there's faculties for actual low-level stuff, like not just, oh, it's C, but it doesn't have access to like things like a kernel would want, right? You're still going to need, I'm probably going to transpile to C as one option, just so that it's got more cross-platform output, but the current plan is just to use LLVM, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't want to depend on LLVM in the future, but every time I try to write my own backend, I just lose even more time than I've already lost. So I'm going to try to not, I'm just going to use LLVM to work out all the front-end features of the language, and then we'll worry about additional backend support in the future. C will be one option if I can be happy making a C backend. Codeberg. Let me upload my logo to the Codeberg so it looks nice and pretty. Avatar, choose file, update. Image width is too big. Okay, well, PDN. Let me make it smaller. I'm on a different machine right now, so you guys can't see it, but give me just a minute to do what I want to do. Media, brand, logo. Actually, let me grab the other one because this is a copy. Resize down to 1024. Okay, but keep the aspect ratio, please. Save, save. I would love to actually make this square, so 1024 minus 926, so I need to move 98, 49 pixels down, okay. 1024. Then back. Now it is centered. And now I'll probably just make it like slightly. This is fine. Save that as my copy. I can close this. Now we can upload my copy, which I'll rename something better later. There we go. It might look a little funny, but that's okay. Ta-da! It does look funny on this machine, but I think it's just because of streaming. Let me go back to whatever I reading chat and stuff. No, I don't think it's too much work for one person at the scale that I'm doing it at. Yes, it'll be too much work if it gets wide adoption and we need lots of features and tool chains, and that's why you have other people doing stuff. So if somebody wanted to write an LSP, I probably won't be doing it unless nobody does it. I want to learn how to write an LSP, so I might do a simple one just for fun, but a serious LSP for Cinder will probably not be something I ever do personally. We'll need enough people to be engaged in it that somebody will want to write an LSP. So things like that. I'm probably not going to write a package manager either, because I don't think I want a package manager necessarily. But the way that Cinder compilation is going to work, it might be a good idea to have a package manager anyway. So either I'll write a package manager that comes with the compiler, or somebody else will write a package manager. The problem with making the package manager come with the compiler is if you wanted to do something like Rust, Rust lets you install different compilers, so you'd want the package manager to be separate so it can install both compilers and packages. So maybe it won't go with the compiler. So basically, I don't know. Other people would be probably better at a bunch of other things in the language. If I want to do more heavy backend stuff, having somebody who does backend stuff would be nice. But for the most part, doing a compiler front end you can do on your own. It's everything about surrounding it, backend optimization, all of the tooling around it that you'd want extra people for. Like, you can still do it, but mixed expertise and extra people checking your work and making things more efficient, yeah, you'd want more people for a bigger project. Right now, it's a tiny project, and I'm doing it so haphazardly that other people would have a hard time keeping up. I think I'm at a point with my design goals and my current code implementation that people could start contributing, but there's so little of the actual language that there's nothing really to build on yet. You'd have to work like directly with me and ask me a bunch of questions, which is fine. You can do that in the Cinder Discord if you want to do anything, and I can guide you along what I think the goals for Cinder will be while I'm writing the documentation for it. But no, right now it's just me because it's all up here and it's not in docs. So, thanks. Yeah, no, I want this to run like as minimal as possible. It should be a quick compiler with minimal memory overhead. Standard library is going to be complete, but as small as I can make it, etc., etc. I care about space and efficiency. I'm just also not good at it all the time, so I'm willing to be told better options. Yeah, this example, I think for this example, no, that's fine. Yeah, Nick wants to help with stuff. He's helping with GameFoo right now. Cinder doesn't need shebang, but I want to support it anyway. This actually should probably now say, let's say user being env Cinder run. I do still want it to be runnable as a scripting language. It's not just in time, it is AOT, but if I just support like a run directive here, then it can AOT compile it and then call it. I don't know what it's actually going to look like yet, but that's the idea, is something like this will just be installed with it. So you can run Cinder code as a scripting language if I get enough high-level features in the standard library for it to be useful as one. But I just like that it supports shebang. It doesn't actually have to do much. Whether or not somebody wants to use it is the real question. The vast majority of code will not use it. I don't know if I know the song. I know Shaboom. No GC, no. It'll provide you with lots of memory allocators, but no, it's manual management. Like you could write a GC allocator, and hopefully there's enough language features that you could use it properly, but I may or may not provide one in the standard library, basically. But no, the base language is not GC. If you know anything about C, assume that it is probably true about Cinder until I tell you otherwise. Cinder is just C, but the changes that I want to see. C. Like no preprocessor, like modules, like a couple of changes to the primitive types and the type system. I mean, the borrow checker is cool. I don't like it for most applications people use the borrow checker for. Rust is cool. I just don't like that the borrow checker is as ubiquitous as it is. But I don't write Rust, so I don't have strong opinions on it. I just write code that doesn't need a borrow checker, so I don't find it used for the borrow checker. It's that simple. I don't think this is being used anymore. I gotta... Oh, so I removed the memory sanitizer. Okay, so now we've got some leaks to clean up. So align dialog from Lexer create. Okay, so we don't destroy the Lexer. That's step one. So I knew I'd forget that. If Lexer no pointer, then return auto allocator, Lexer allocator, Cinder alloc, allocator, Lexer. So now we've got a single 160 byte object from the source manager. Okay. So driver create is going to create a source manager. That's fine. I want to do that in here. Source manager.c. Do we not deallocate it properly? Source manager destroy. Do we not call this anywhere? Driver.c. Should. So if we go back into source manager on line 42, so we're not freeing the manager. That's it. Cinder allocator. And now we are memory leak free again. So the way that I do memory management for most of my programs is with a handful of explicit analogs for malloc and free, but most of my stuff is just pooled into arrays or into memory arenas, so I can do everything in bulk. So rather than having the borrow checker imply lifetime, I imply the lifetime through the types of allocators I use. So if everything's going to live for about the same duration, you just put it in one arena that represents that duration as a lifetime. Then I call free on that arena whenever I want, and then I don't need a borrow checker. I very rarely have to worry about concurrent access to things. I don't do a whole lot of threading. But like doing threading kind of makes the borrow checker wonky anyway. Protocol buffers and proto. I'm not familiar with protobufs. I'm curious now. Somebody else could definitely write it if I don't. I'm just going to focus on the language itself and make it as good as I can right now. But you got me curious. I don't know what all that's about. Okay, so Yeah, okay. Okie dokie. What next? What next? I'm on Linux Mint right now, yes. The Discord is in my YouTube bio. I can also link it right here. I find the invite link, yeah. Just in case anybody else wants it too. Okie dokie dokie. So we should be all up to date there. So then I don't need this jump target max to be here. It will be in diagnostic engine H, but in the lib, it'll just go right here instead. So now I'm curious, if I were to assert a few things, that diags not equal to null pointer, and assert that diags this is less than the max. Like clearly in the hot path, that should still be fine. But if I now go introduce a problem to the example Cinder file, like hash would be an invalid one character, that looks like it still works. So git status, that changes, that makes sense, git add. Gatito. Hi, hello. Git push takes so long, yeah. Okay. And we're back. So, do I want to do an options parser now? I could probably do an options parser. Close all of those. So if I do options, we have options parser.c, which is empty. Completely empty, which is fine. So the driver would want to have access to the options parser. So I have options is completely empty. So let's say options.h and options parser.h, sure. If and def cinder options parser h core cinder core compiler.h, and just do the same thing here in options, but everywhere we have parser, we just delete it. So then options parser can include cinder options. Thanks, I appreciate it. I've been meaning to stream for so long. I've just had so much going on, and I've just wanted to be alone while programming and relax, but I've missed it. Gives me a lot of time to focus too, because when I'm not streaming or doing something similar, God, I get so distracted. So this is just good for me in general. Struct. So we want Cinder options. There will be lots of options in here probably. I'm in the parser. We want to be in here. That's the screenshot. We don't need that. So options. We're probably going to have a couple of different kinds of commands, and I'll figure out what to do about that eventually. But let's say type def struct cinder input file and include cinder core dynamic array, so that we can say cinder dinar. I'm Australian. It's not good. Hello, Fint. Hello, hi, hi, hello. Hello, hi, hello. Cinder input files. Cinder input file. So this needs input files. So an input file needs to be like Cinder input Cinder, which is not going to make a lot of sense, but it's fine. You can make it a string view, I guess. Cinder string view path. Grab my string view header. Kind of the path, and that's more or less fine. We're going to want to say default. Fint is here. I haven't seen Fint in forever. Off topic. Throw some extra bits about protocol buffers. Okay. I will look into that later. Okay, so the kind of the path, those are the big two that we care about. Then options can take input files. Then the options parser is just going to say Cinder API. So I know Cinder options parsed is a thing that we want. We're going to want a diagnostics engine probably. So Cinder diagnostic engine. I'm really actually so if I grab the include Cinder, because the diagnostics are in the front end. I don't know if I want the options parser to depend on the front end. Basically, it might have to take a callback for what to do when an error in the diagnostic engine happens, but in the parser happens. But I guess this is fine because the options also apply to what things are going to exist in the front end. Maybe they really just need to happen for like lex parse analyze, which is below the. No, that is the front end. So this is fine. Options relying on the front end should be fine. I think. Hello. Hi. Hello. Oh, hi. Hi. Hello. Okay. So we need int argc car rv. We're definitely parsing these. I think we want to put them first, honestly. I'm going to put those first in terms of this diagnostic engine. And then I think we just return Cinder options. And we call that it. Maybe? That might be an okay API. Because we can always query the diagnostic engine to check if it emitted errors. You can't right now, but in the future you can. So I don't need a bool anymore, hopefully. So then Cinder options here. We've got input files. We got input files. Is there anything else I wanted to do right now? We could do standard selection. We could do short tool help. We could do verbose. So show help rather and show version. And this would be like, that's fine, okay. Because there will probably be a help command, so I might go ahead and do that and say def enum. That's fine here. Cinder command. This is a driver command. That's a good point. I had things in the driver. Maybe this, because I have the command here. So these are driver args. So really, maybe this options shit is useless because it should just be here in the driver, like I started doing and then gave up on. That's a driver args, first off. Cinder driver options, maybe. Cinder driver command. So then, yeah, let me grab this options parser thing and just say this in the driver and say Cinder driver options parse. That's definitely a little better. And then we could actually just take in the driver instead of the diagnostics engine separately. And that gives us the driver options, right? So then I don't need this. So then we can come over here and say, these are still fine. So those are still fine. Then we still want each of these in the driver. So we could do shit like that. So then the options just needs the input files separately here. Put that at the end. So then options and options parser have become completely obsolete, and we can delete the directories even. Now the driver here has options. And all still works. Cool. I do, yes. Hello, Argentina. It is me, United States. I'm not happy about it, but I don't think most people are happy with their country the entire life, so. Their entire life. Can you just take me back to the header file? That'd be great. I just want to copy this and put it here. KFC is like fine. I miss good KFC, that's for sure. But I would only eat it, like, I don't know, once a month or less. Yeah, the made by collaborators bit for sure. Nick is talking about. Let's go back to parsing options. Cinder driver options. Return options. Pressure cookers are cool. Yeah, I haven't seen the documentary. I just know pressure cookers are cool. Define shift. I always do this, and then we'll undef shift. So assert argc greater than 0, argc minus minus, argv plus plus, and then argv -1. I forget if I did argv -1 or if I just manually subtracted arg. I think this will be fine. That's my shift. Sad. So then here's the next problem. Options program can't be shift without turning into a so if I have like a define shift sv, so that would be like Cinder string view from Cinder, let's say, of shift, which I don't think is part of my API. Yeah, there's basically no API for string views right now. So Cinder API, Cinder string view. So then do I have a string view? I don't have a string view. So let's go to core, lib core, string view C. Include Cinder core string view. Return Cinder string view. Data string dot count is strlen string, and strlen string. There we go. Cool, cool. So then I can do shift sv to get the program name, and instead of doing an assert, we might want to turn that into Did you keep track of all the classes you created? Do you build some map or diagram? Nope. I try to just make the code as readable and searchable as possible. Why build a diagram of the code when the code is a diagram of code? There's also no classes. Yeah, it's just structs and functions and stuff. The closest you're going to get to a class is just like a general conglomerate of like-purpose structures and functions. The reason I've done this refactor is in part to make the code more searchable by other people. Because before I tried to keep the number of source and header files to a minimum, but whenever I took a break from the project or tried to explain something to somebody or tried to pretend I was explaining something to somebody or any of the above, just to like see what it would look like to be a collaborator or whatnot, it was hard to explore the code. So I've been pulling things out into more easily readable names in these source files here and making the build system work with it just fine. So you don't have to read through a shit ton of code. You can just look at a handful of file names and maybe search for some names in the code, and you'll have smaller files with more defined purposes, and it's just easier, right? I really don't intend to generate a UML diagram, no. There's just no reason to. If somebody wants it, they can generate one themselves, but I am not going to provide one. I don't think anybody's going to need one. Okay. So this is asserting. And then just say like, if argc is equal to 0, return options, because there's not even maybe a program name. Then that bypasses the assert. So then we can say while argc is greater than 0, which will also bypass the assert. Then we can say constant var arg or opt. Let's call it opt equals shift. So then if 0 is equal to stir compare opt help. So let's grab include string h. And options dot show help is true. We have a nice old else at the end here that we'll do things for. So we have a few flags here. Version, then verbose will be enable verbose output. We had okay. The other two actually we're going to have different options for, so for now that's fine. These three are fine. Else, so let's track the file kind, input file kind, Cinder input default. So then, if this is Cinder input default, we're going to do a whole thing. Say auto file kind is going to be input file kind. Actually, we'll just use this copy instead. So then we can say assert this does not equal to Cinder input default. Right. So in here we'll do a thing, but then we can say Cinder input file. Go ahead and initialize it to something. So it needs a kind, which is going to be file kind. And it needs a dot name, which is going to be Cinder string view from string of the option. I made the name be path first of all. That's why. And then we can Cinder dynamic array push to options, input files, input file. Could I do that in line? Sure, but it's a macro, so it's weird. So now we need a way to get I'm just not going to do that. The only input file right now we support is Cinder. We're actually going to call it Cinder source. You could also have a Cinder module. And it could also be a module binary, or it could be a module directory. could have libraries that libraries can be inputs. You know, those are just options. For right now, though, it's just going to be Cinder source. And I don't have to worry about that case right now. Still works. Nothing wrong. Let me go into the Lexer and just stop printing tokens. And now I shouldn't have to include setJump explicitly either. Cool. View driver. Okay, that all looks fine. So, do you really need the second Cinder in the names? Yes. So, the Cinder is a namespace here, just so that everything I'm referring to always starts with the word Cinder, so I don't have conflicts with other header files and libraries and stuff. The input is what I'm actually working with, and then here, this one doesn't need to be it. This one doesn't, but this is Cinder source, a Cinder module, but this is just any arbitrary static library. I might be able to support importing different source kinds, like this could be C source, and then I can either delegate to the system C compiler to turn this into an object that I can then link, or something like that, right? So, yeah, as an illustration, I will actually do that and leave input C source there as well. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. That's why I'm doing it. That's what that's for. She's still napping. Do that later. This lets me now write some stuff. So here then, you can now say auto options is Cinder driver options parse. RBs, and then return Cinder driver run driver options. I should actually keep this here. But I'll change the condition to say if options input files count is then this is options input files items 0 data. What? Path data. So I know it's a C string, so that should be fine. Okay, so now we've leaked Cinder drive for options to be init options. It isn't like that. Right there. These are not the same name. What the heck? Cinder dynamic array init options. That's so weird. Okay, there we go. ASAN is happy now. Okay, I might have to call it here for the day because I'm starting to lose my focus and just want to not stare at code for a bit. But thanks everybody for stopping by. I didn't expect so much fun chatting engagement for my first day back in like ages. So I really appreciate it. Some people have already found the Discord. If anybody else is curious, you can find it in my channel description somewhere. I can also copy this link again and repaste it. The source code is periodically being updated to this repository on Codeberg. And eventually, in the near future, I'm in the middle of reworking documentation anyway, there will be an actual README on how to do stuff. The closest I've got to documentation is I'm like stealing stuff from the Go spec so that I can start writing an actual language specification here. But that doesn't tell you how to build. So keep an eye on both of those. The README, the roadmap has like a little bit in it here, but it's like so unfinished because I'm just thought dumping that there's not a lot going on. Anyway, don't have high expectations of it, but yeah, thanks for stopping by. Go check out whatever you want to go check out. I'm going to try to stream more often, at least once a week, maybe a couple times a week. If I minimize that, my whole screen disappears. That's fun. Anyway, bye guys.